What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen this how I was going down. Make sure y'all hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it in the title. I'm telling y'all. Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, Bernie Sanders, all get called out. Collecting paychecks while hard-working men and women who control our skies aren't. I'm telling y'all, one thing about it is that it's pretty sad. You know, it's definitely pretty sad. We've talked about this multiple times. What they're doing is definitely messed up. I definitely, wish I was a billionaire. Because one thing about it, I love helping out. I love helping out. It's pretty sad even seeing, the families that's going through things, that's in, these food banks, food banks even, shutting down early because, it's not enough food. It's not enough. It's just sad, to the troops, to the families, to the hardworking people. Definitely sad. Check it out.
I do think there's a frustration with our controllers that Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, Bernie Sanders, they're all going to get their paychecks. Well, these men and women who control our skies aren't going to be paid because of the shutdown. I think there's also a frustration that the shutdown is about paying for health care benefits for illegal immigrants. I think our controllers, who again are great Americans, want their Congress to focus on America and Americans and are asking the question, why is the Congress, why are Senate Democrats focused on health care benefits for illegals? Maybe focus on me and my paycheck and the services that I provide. Open up the government, negotiate, have a conversation, but don't hold them, their paychecks, their families hostage so you can give benefits to illegal migrants. I think that truly is an overarching concern and theme, and I appreciate that NACA doesn't get political. They don't. But what I think you will hear from Nick is they're asking for the government to open. They're asking for everyone to come together, make sure they all get paid, and then take the time to have conversations, to negotiate. But the answer is never shut down the government. The answer is open the government and then have a dialogue, come to a resolution.
Exactly. I definitely agree. I definitely agree. Open up the government. Like President Trump said, President Trump has said it. Open up that government. And we'll talk about things. Not only that, but other things that obviously they're trying to be destructive. With. So he did definitely say that. One thing about it is that so many people are realizing, so many people are paying attention to of what Hakeem Jeffries, what Chuck Schumer is on, and the rest of the Democrats, and they're seeing, they're not doing anything but messing it, up for themselves. I mean, honestly, they're obviously seeing this. This is something that's definitely big, that'll definitely always, be, in remembrance of what they've done. So I'm telling y'all. Definitely. Says here, President Trump says an anonymous donor sent the check for $130 million to pay troops during the Schumer shutdown. Check it out.
And a friend of mine, talking about donors, a friend of mine, a man that's great. I'm not going to use his name unless he lets me do it. Susie can tell you about this, but he called us the other day and he said, I'd like to contribute any shortfall you have because of the Democrat shutdown. I'd like to personally contribute any shortfall you have with the military, because I love the military and I love the country, and any shortfall, if there's a shortfall, I'll contribute it. And today he sent us a check for $130 million. Can you share who that is? I would love to tell you. He doesn't really want the recognition, if you want to know the truth, but he gave us a check for $130 million. And that's going to go to which was sort of a shortfall, yeah. And that's going to go to the military, yeah.
And what's your message? See, and that's one thing that I love. I absolutely love the fact, too, that he doesn't want to give that name. Not, obviously Trump respecting it. And the person that, sent the money, sent the check. I respect, I definitely respect an individual. It's one of those same things, when people make those videos, when people recording, they go and they record, them giving back to the homeless or giving, recording that. I obviously, it's one of those things, that it's not to record, not to put them on the spot. They're already going through enough. I feel like if I were, homeless, if I didn't really have it all together, living on the street, I wouldn't want a camera in my face. I wouldn't want to be on camera. I'm already going through enough. I'm already, so much of down on myself, even if I, were to be in that position. So I feel like that right there, it speaks a lot, to not be, seen, to not get that name out there, just to know that a great individual, sent, money for, these troops, these families, these hard workers. So I definitely support that. I definitely respect that, a lot. I truly do. But you got Hakeem Jeffries, literally just got embarrassed on national television. Literally all they do is lie. That's constantly what he does. Check him out right here.
It said what you are asking the Republicans to do right now when they control the White House, the Senate, and the House is effectively what the Democrats could not do when they controlled all three of those heads of government themselves. The 10-year setup for this, for these, or the 3-year setup for the expiration of these credits was intentionally put in. It was put in when you controlled the White House, the House, and the Senate. You couldn't get it passed for longer. And so this is a setup that kind of your own creation that you all couldn't extend beyond that. Now you want the Republicans to do something you didn't do when you were in power?
It's not a setup beyond what we could do. We extended the Affordable Care Act tax credits in 2022 for 3 years. The program is working. It's providing health care to tens of millions of people in an affordable way, and it should be continued. It's interesting to us that Republicans decided that they would prefer to permanently extend massive tax breaks for their billionaire donors in their one big ugly bill.
One thing that I'll tell y'all is that he knows how bad, it is himself, of how bad he's failing, on how bad he's telling lies and people aren't believing anything that's coming out of their mouths. I feel like it's one of those things to where they thought this was going to work, as far as them, as far as, people that support them, but they're seeing that it's going in a different direction, but they're trying to hold their ground, if that makes sense. They're trying to hold their ground because they know how wrong it is. They try to, be that, that individual that think, oh, okay, what I'm doing is right, and let's do this. We got a plan, but then that plan goes wrong. But now we still gonna stick with it because we don't want them to be right. It's one of those things. Definitely one of those things. Check it out, Caroline Leavitt.
Hakeem Jeffries is simply lashing out because he knows that I am telling the truth about the modern day Democrat Party. What I said, and it is a fact, is that the Democrat Party caters more to pro-Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals. And let me walk Hakeem through the facts of that statement. When it comes to pro-Hamas terrorists, it was Hakeem's House Democrat caucus that voted against a resolution condemning the October 7th attack on Israel. It was Hakeem Jeffries' Democrat caucus that supported and encouraged the pro-Hamas protests that ravaged college campuses and engaged in illegal harassment of Jewish students across the United States of America under Joe Biden's administration. When it comes to illegal aliens, the American people know the truth about that. The Democrats allowed them to flood our country. Why? Because they view that constituency as their future voters. And when it comes to violent criminals, look at what the Democrats support in terms of crime. Soft on crime policies like cashless bail, like letting violent criminals out back into the streets so they can recommit violent offenses against law-abiding American citizens. The Democrat Party puts Americans last. That's why they overwhelmingly lost the election to President Trump and the Republican Party. And that's why they're holding this country hostage right now from law-abiding, tax-paying American citizens who want the government to be open. So Hakeem Jeffries should...
So it's more of them throwing like a pouting, hissy fit.
stop calling me names. He should stop trying to fight my boss, President Trump. And he should go back to doing what he was elected to do, the business of the American people in Congress, and encourage Senate Democrats to open the government. And I see Hakeem Jeffries saying House Republicans are out. They're not even here. Yeah, because they did their jobs. And they passed a clean continuing resolution at the behest of President Trump to keep the government open. And now Senate Democrats and Chuck Schumer are blocking that to fight Donald Trump, and it's despicable.
Definitely. One thing about it, like I said, is more of him, you know, and the Democrats obviously pouting about it. And one thing about it is that they don't do nothing but continue to lie. Check it out from Hakeem Jeffries.
America. This group of people, these extremists on the other side, they have zero credibility, zero, on the issue of political violence. And these Republicans, they are not the party of law and order. They're the party of lawlessness and disorder in all of the ways, including the ongoing crime scene at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, which is running the largest pay-to-play scheme in the history of the country in real time. And we hear nothing but crickets from Mike Johnson and the other side of the aisle. Get lost with your denunciations. The No Kings.
I wonder if he's always talked like that. It kind of confuses me. He talks like a robot or something.
This was peaceful, it was powerful, and it was patriotic. Millions of people.
Or he tries to sound like Obama or something. I don't know
More
what
than
it
7
is.
million people. And so I've got no time for these people on the other side of the aisle. We have States of America.
Dude, it's just a lie. Never takes accountability. I'm telling y'all, never takes accountability. Says Hakeem Jeffries says that that because President Trump and Republicans, hospitals and nursing homes across the country are closing. Let me tell y'all something. Me personally, I know for a fact that, you know, these are lies. I looked everywhere. I try to look everywhere, and I try to recognize on really what's going on everywhere. And I haven't seen any hospitals. I haven't seen none of that. So,
can you just speak to some of the programs that Democrats want funding for in the $1.5 trillion list of demands? We've heard things like $13.4 million for civic engagement in Zimbabwe, $3.9 million for LGBTQ democracy grants in the Balkans, things like this. You guys say this is about saving healthcare, but how do these pet projects fit
Yeah, we
in?
have no idea what you're talking about or what Republican extremists fed you those talking points. But the reality is what we are doing is defending the health care of the American people. Yeah, we do want to restore the fact that the largest cut to Medicaid in American history has been visited upon the American people by Donald Trump and Republicans, even though they promised to love and cherish Medicaid. But instead of doing that, they cut about $1 trillion from Medicaid. And as a result of that fact, hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health centers are closing all across the country, including in Republican states like Georgia, like Alabama. And Republican states.
see, he does his pause. I don't know why he does it. It's weird. I'm sorry. I'm obviously listening to like what he's, but it's just weird. Like he stops. Like he speaks like a robot, then he like stops. Like he like shut down or something.
And Republican states all across the country.
See?
And Republicans have visited the largest cut to Medicaid in American history on their own people. That's what we want to restore. We want to.
Why does he do that? I'm sorry, y'all. It is. I literally looked at his video, but I didn't notice it till I'm watching it with y'all, and it's odd.
We want to avoid the fact that because of what Republicans did in their one big ugly bill, what they did is to trigger the possibility of a $536 billion cut to Medicare, because Republicans have put a bullseye on Medicare and Social Security since those earned benefits were created. And yet we have a problem with the fact that Republicans want to devastate the Medicare of the American people. And why did they do that? Why did they cut Medicaid? by almost $1 trillion? Because they want to reward their billionaire donors with massive tax breaks. And they made those massive tax breaks permanent, while at the same time can't even be bothered to extend Affordable Care Act tax credits for working class Americans who are about to experience dramatically increased premiums, copays, and deductibles. The American people know that Democrats are fighting for them, for working class America, for middle class America, and for everyday Americans, and that Republicans continue to show up for the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected.
I guess he thought that was like amazing what he said. I almost fell asleep. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I don't know what it is with him stopping. I don't know what it is. It's aggravating a little bit. One thing about it though is that this dude literally then just told so many lies that he said they're fighting for Americans, bro. They fighting for illegal aliens, bro. That's how I look at it. And a lot of other people see it too. I'm telling y'all. He goes on and on and on. Then he goes on MSNBC. You know, they love going on MSNBC and putting out lies. Says Hakeem Jeffries, better known as Dollar Store Obama, announced he will launch a taxpayer investigation on Donald Trump and the donors who aren't using any taxpayer dollars whatsoever to build the ballroom. Check out what he said.
More likely, this is part of what Donald Trump has been doing since day one of his presidency, running the largest pay-to-play scheme in the history of the country, and probably soliciting donations from people who've got business before the United States government. And all of this is going to have to be investigated. It will. All of this will have to be uncovered. It will. And these people are going to be held accountable no matter how long it takes. That's going to be the reality of the situation. And that's our warning to all of these people participating in this scheming to manipulate taxpayer dollars and, of course, to destroy the people's house. The White House belongs to the American people. It doesn't belong to Donald Trump.
Why do they keep on saying that taxpayers is paying for this? And when President Trump clearly said that they're not. I found this video. This is probably one of the best videos I've seen on X this whole month. I'm not even gonna lie. I might have to pause. I might not. I don't know. It's music playing in the background. But check out what this guy says, y'all.
So, yeah, here we go again. Although I'd never support Trump or anyone who supports Trump crowd is about to have a full-blown identity crisis. Why? Do pray tell. That privately funded list just came out. And guess who's helped funding that new White House ballroom? Still not your tax dollars. No. Some of your favorite brands. Let's start with Apple. Yeah, that device that you're probably watching this on. The same one that you post Trump as a fascist from. I hate to tell
It's literally Apple. Apple is one of the donors.
you, you just made a campaign donation with Face ID. Better chuck that iPhone and grab a flip phone, Patriot. Salute! Comcast, time to unplug. No Netflix, no Hulu. Just sit there and stare at a blank screen and think about your life choices. You know, Google, you better not Google how to cancel Prime, because congrats, you just supported Trump twice. Why? Because guess who's next? Amazon.
Because guess who's next? Amazon. You got Google, Amazon.
Yeah, that same place that you order your fake ass eyelashes and that live, laugh, love sign that you definitely don't live, laugh, or love by. You better delete Prime, sweet cheeks. Guess it's back to waiting in line at Walmart like the rest of us peasants since you're on your iOS and all, you know. Bougie. HP. Hope you didn't print that no hate in my state sign on an HP printer. That's basically a GOP ATM now. Time to handwrite your protests in crayon, champ. Scream defund the military and now your defense contractors out here buying chandeliers for said ballroom. You're basically sponsoring the next Marine Corps ball, my friend. Meta. That orange man bad meme you posted? It's hanging on the wall in the new ballroom. Doing the cha-cha. Delete your account because you're more than likely watching this on a Meta platform and boosting this post at the same time just by watching. Microsoft.
When I seen this video, I was like, this is golden. Y'all can find this video too. I'm gonna play the rest, but y'all can find this video at CRW CNTRL. So it's at CRW SCNTRL. So y'all can find this, or y'all can just type in cruise_control. I'm sure it'll pop up too as well.
Microsoft. Word, Teams, Outlook, all of it. It's basically Microsoft now. Dust off that typewriter and live your truth. And lastly, T-Mobile. Every pink phone and text trash and Trump, yeah, you just pay for the drywall. If you're serious about not supporting Trump, For anyone who supports Trump, start packing. Unplug, unfollow, uninstall. You're moving to the woods with a rotary phone and 2 pigeons.
And it is true. In fact, I seen it today. See if I can find it for y'all. See if we can find it. So you got it here. This is the whole list. Y'all can look this up. Just type in what I just typed in, donors for ballroom, and it'll pop up. You got Amazon, Apple, Google, HP. You got Microsoft, T-Mobile. You got Harold Ham. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Tether America. It's a lot. Definitely a lot. Comcast, Hard Rock International. You have a lot. I'm telling y'all. Definitely a lot. One thing about it, though, is that it's all right here. No taxpayers, paying for this. The whole list is right here, and this is what I love. One thing about it, I've seen the pictures, of them, what they're creating, and it looks amazing. I'm not even gonna lie, definitely looks amazing. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Definitely appreciate every single last one of y'all. Catch y'all next one.